when Coastal Carolina University played Penn State last weekend, the Myrtle Beach Area Chamber of Commerce sent its dean. Meet him coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're in the conference room of the Myrtle Beach Herald at 4806 Northgate Boulevard in Myrtle Beach, behind Myrtle Beach Lighting and Barnhill Realty, off Highway 17 Bypass South. We're focused on the Myrtle Beach Area Chamber of Commerce, and we're visiting with its president and chief executive officer, Brad Dean. Good morning, Brad.
Good morning, Greg. Great to be at the Myrtle Beach Herald.
What a thrill to get you in, and of course to get you finally down here to the end of Northgate Boulevard, a great, easy location to find, and to finally get you out here.
You know, so many of us are just now finding out about the Market Commons, and to see all the businesses that are out here just south of the old Air Force Base and the back gate. It's amazing to see the economic activity out here. So welcome to the Herald for becoming a part of this area.
Yes, we are thrilled. You know, it is, of course, expanding quite a bit, and the other exit that will come out of the Market Common, Withers Preserve, will be a little south of us, so we'll be positioned perfectly right in the center of these great two exits out onto the bypass.
It's really interesting to watch the economic explosion that's occurred here, not only in the media industry, but the service industry, as well as some of the industry just surrounding the former Air Force Base. To think that 10 or 15 years ago this was the site of great economic distress, and now it's just a bustling economic activity out here. It's really exciting to watch it come forward.
More potential members for the Myrtle Beach Area Chamber of Commerce.
We need to get out here knocking on doors and selling some membership.
Absolutely. That Pam Wright, she has been rocking and rolling, Brad. I think I saw she was number 2 in the nation.
She was, and she's disappointed because last year she was number 1. Pam almost has a corner in that market. She's done a phenomenal job. Of course, the real key is to be in a community where the business community is thriving and growing, and certainly we're seeing that even in a tough economy. So we're excited to be a part of it, and real excited about what's going on out here around the Myrtle Beach Herald.
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, we were filming at the Myrtle Beach Area Chamber of Commerce recently, highlighting leading up to the Beach Boogie and Barbecue Festival, which we'll talk about in a second. And I bumped into Pam, and of course she's quickly talking about making sure I'd renewed, and are there any other business opportunities to talk about for getting on as chamber member. She is quick, and we had a guest there that morning that we bumped into her, and she said, I just signed her up. This was the Limos for Learning organization. She is on top of it.
Pam has been a real key to the success over the last several years of us growing our membership beyond tourism. You know, for many years we always had a lot of support, and still do, within the tourism industry, but the challenge was, what can the chamber do to better serve those businesses whose customers aren't necessarily tourists? We're all somehow directly or indirectly tied to tourism, but how do we serve those businesses whose customers are other businesses or residents? And Pam has been a critical link in helping us connect not only our sales but our services to those businesses, and hopefully serve them better and better as the years go on.
It ties into something in the Grand Strand, or the publication that comes out on a monthly basis that highlights kind of a strong newsletter, almost a book that is sent out to all your chamber members. I saw the one in July, or maybe it was in June, that highlighted on July 1st you'd be restructuring a little bit the position. Oh, sweetie, hey, thank you for coming in this week. It's great to have you in. Brad, I think I told you Emma Claire was coming in before school starts this week. I'm actually Oh, I love you wearing your Herald shirt this morning. That is wonderful, honey. You remember Brad Dean, Gina Marie's dad, who's here?
Emma Claire's branding the Myrtle Beach Herald. I like that. The
absolutely.
Branding has now extended into the preschools.
Very definitely.
You have truly exceeded any expectations the rest of us would have had.
We're getting her out as much as possible in that Herald shirt, very definitely. The thrill, of course, there of seeing that simple question, should we be a Chamber of Commerce or a Convention and Visitors Bureau? And I think the answer was real clear there in the big member newsletter.
Absolutely, and we've had members like Adam Parness, who's of course a neighbor here, located in Shred-Right, and Adam was a member of our board of directors. And he and many others often question, are we a Chamber of Tourism? Are we a Chamber of Commerce? What are we? What should we be? And I think ultimately the answer is we have to be both. Clearly, tourism is an essential industry, not just in our state, but particularly here locally. But if we only focus on how we serve tourists and how we get more tourists, we don't give ourselves and our industry enough credit. We really need to broaden, our economic expansion. We need to create more jobs and higher paying jobs. And we think our role is to serve those businesses outside of the tourism industry that still play a very important role in the Grand Strand economy. So CVB, Chamber of Commerce, we think that they work very well together, and that's because of the thriving business community we have along the Grand Strand.
Absolutely. It is exciting, Brad. How often do you all actually, is it on a daily basis, a weekly, a monthly basis, you all actually look in at the membership base and say, this is enough, or do we always need more? You're constantly out there pursuing it, and what is an average number, let's say on the 1st of September or the 1st of August, as you look back, how often do you all look at that and see, are the numbers shifting, are there certain times of the year where folks are renewing and they all come current?
Sure. Each year we start our renewal process in June, but our sales efforts and our service efforts go year-round. And throughout the 12-month period, we're always looking to add members, but more importantly, Greg, what we try to do is bolster the services, no different than what you do at the Myrtle Beach Herald, to make sure that your readers get the information they want when they want it.
Sure.
And we've found that rather than simply target numbers and talk about dollars, it's more important to talk about retention. It's one thing to sell somebody on a membership, but what we take great pride in is whether or not they renew.
Yes.
If they come back to us year after year after year, we know we're doing something right, and we're very pleased that not only have we had some very strong sales, for 4 years in a row now, we've been in the top 10 in the nation amongst all the largest chambers in renewals. Now, I certainly can't take credit for that. I think the credit goes to our staff and our board of directors and many volunteers we have, but it also says something about this business community along the Grand Strand, that even in tough times, they work together, they come together, they stay together, and a united business community certainly has the potential to succeed.
Right. Tremendous, Brad. Absolutely. Good answer. Good answer. I like to hear that and to think about the renewals and the businesses that have really committed and continue to commit year after year and hopefully continue to grow the Myrtle Beach Area Chamber of Commerce. You've got a great new board and a new board chairman.
We do. Brant Branham is the new elected chairman. Brant, of course, is from the real estate industry, and Brant is really a collaborator. He likes to bring people together, look for where we can make 1 + 1 = 3. He is backed up by a very strong and very talented board. We've recently restructured, so there's a clear focus of those who are in the tourism industry on tourism marketing, which frees up the entire board with some very notable individuals who can now offer their business expertise, their experience, and their knowledge of the Grand Strand and their industry to help us further. We think it's real simple. I mean, our mission is to promote, protect, and improve the Grand Strand and its business community, and it comes really with one underlying objective, and that is that we can either choose to grow and succeed together, or we can fail apart. And if the Chamber does anything right, it should work with other area chambers of commerce as well as the business community to keep us together, to keep us united, and make sure that we're all moving in the right direction together.
Absolutely. Brad, let's think, speaking of that, moving together, of course, we had a very successful weekend this past weekend, the Beach Boogie and Barbecue Festival.
We're always, depending on the weather, and with Labor Day, you don't know. Some years it can be a total rain out, other years not, but we're very fortunate. And of course, the Beach Boogie Barbecue Festival is quickly becoming a staple event for Labor Day weekend, when you've got the national eating champions like Joey Chestnut, a soap opera star, or another TV celebrity, and you combine that with great food and great music. What's not to love? And we're hopeful that this event will not only help us grow Labor Day weekend, it gives us another promotional avenue to get out and talk about things that people don't know about the Myrtle Beach area. Usually give us credit for having great beaches and great golf courses, but great cuisine and lots of entertainment, and particularly free entertainment. We think the Beach Boogie Barbecue is going to continue to grow and exceed, and particularly at the Market Commons, it's found a home.
Tremendous location, the Market Common and Grand Park, and the city obviously teaming up with the Chamber and with the Market Common to open up the doors for Grand Park and really make that an accessible location.
Absolutely, and we know it's been controversial and it's caused some commotion by moving events. Frankly, the Sun Fun Festival thrived in the downtown Myrtle Beach area, but given the challenges and the changes going on there and the need for that festival to have a location where we can have all of these events together, we're thrilled to now be able to kick off the summer and wrap up the summer with 2 great events, the Sun Fun Festival, the Beach Boogie Barbecue Festival, and then in between, all those weeks throughout June, July, and August, concerts and other family fun events. But we can't forsake the downtown businesses and what's happening down there. We're committed to helping with that. We're convinced that there will be a reemergence of downtown Myrtle Beach, perhaps different than what all of us remember, but certainly offering a great opportunity in the future for downtown redevelopment and revitalization. The Chamber certainly wants to be a part of that.
Absolutely. Well, it's been a tremendous summer, a lot of aspects, tremendous accolades that the Myrtle Beach area has received over the last number of months, and you may want to highlight some of those, and I want to get into that. I want to surely put some focus on September 30th and then October 29th and October 30th, but share with viewers real quick some of the highlights that the Myrtle Beach area received over the summer.
Certainly. Well, a couple that are really impressive and we're thrilled with. First of all, we were one of the top 10 searches, in fact, one of the most frequently searched vacation destinations on Yahoo. Now, what does that mean? Well, each and every day, millions of people go on to these search engines like Yahoo and search for anything and everything you might imagine. To be one of the top searches, particularly in a vacation destination, even more than Orlando, Virginia Beach, Atlantic City, or Las Vegas.
Oh, come on.
It's really amazing to think that people are out there, and what's great about that, Greg, is these are people looking for information. Might be planning a vacation, maybe planning a wedding, maybe looking at buying real estate. What that tells us is there are people out there that don't know enough about the Myrtle Beach area, and they're looking for information. So we feel that that's a great sign that there's still a lot of interest in the area. Another one that was absolutely impressive and surprising for us was Ask.com. It is a growing website, one that gets a lot of attention, and from all parts of the nation and even outside the nation in several foreign countries. And what was most interesting in that is we were really the only destination within their top 10 searches.
Oh,
so
come on.
we really
That's
like the
tremendous.
fact
Yes.
that people are not just seeing advertising and not just coming here and enjoying themselves, but looking for more information.
Right.
That tells us that there's a lot of interest, and that's important as we think about the Grand Strand growing and evolving into more of a national destination.
Absolutely. Some excitement recently when Peter Greenberg was in town, and even a little further back, Cokie Roberts mentioned there on national television.
We did. Cokie gave us a nice little plug. Of course, at the same time when she was giving the Democratic presidential nominee a bit of a slap, and we tried to have some fun with it. She chastised him for visiting Hawaii, and we would never begrudge a man to go visit his mother, but we did take full opportunity to say, she's right, he ought to be coming to Myrtle Beach, and Senator McCain as well. And, of course, having had the presidential debates here, we're excited about the fact that no matter who wins in November, we think there's going to have to be a spot in the White House for a picture of that candidate and their sand sculpture, and they're here along the Grand Strand.
Oh,
so hopefully that will tie them to this destination for many years to come. And you mentioned Peter Greenberg. There are a few travel industry experts that have greater followings than Peter Greenberg. He is, of course, the travel detective. And what's most special about that, Greg, is not just that he'll reach millions of potential visitors, but when Peter comes, he looks for unique stories that might not otherwise be told. Talked to Sandy Kendrick from the Horry Arts Council. He talked to the folks from Hawaiian Rumble. He looked for unique stories that the visitors who may not know much about the Myrtle Beach area would be intrigued to find out, and we're hopeful that that will convince them and maybe consider us the next time they're looking for a fun place to visit.
Absolutely. That's tremendous, Brad. Well, this is a big month. Of course, we wrap up the month with the volunteer celebration, the big volunteer celebration event, but next month's even as equally exciting with the annual meeting and, of course, the 70th anniversary. But share with viewers just leading up to those three events.
Certainly, September and October are big times for us. We get past the summer season. We start to really look into next year and position ourselves to help the community grow and expand and evolve. And particularly this year, we're excited because we will in September recognize our Volunteer of the Year, whoever he or she may be, and we have lots of great candidates. It gives us a chance to recognize an individual, and perhaps this year, perhaps even a company, that have really given a lot back to the community. Even though we recognize one particular individual, it's really symbolic as we take the time to say thank you to the hundreds of people that have given of their time and their resources to the Chamber and in turn the community. And then, of course, as you mentioned, October's a very, very special month for us this year. We turned 70 years old. We think we look pretty good for 70, and we're going to take a little bit of time to look back upon the last 70 years to think back that when the Chamber was formed, where the region was, where the nation was, where the world was, and then really, more importantly, to look at the next 70. Where do we go from here, and where does the Myrtle Beach Area Chamber of Commerce fit into that picture? So we're going to take the opportunity to thank some of those individuals that have had a great role in that success and help remind everyone just where the Myrtle Beach Area Chamber of Commerce sees itself in the future of the Grand Strand. It's an exciting future, and we certainly intend to be a part of that.
Absolutely. And the day before that, the annual meeting, I guess that's the 69th or 70th, is that annual meeting? Maybe
we missed a couple of meetings there, particularly during war times, but that meeting has grown and evolved into a much larger event. It used to pretty much just be a presentation of chamber objectives. With a lot of credit to you and others that have been involved and helped us shape that, we've turned that more into a business forum. There'll be educational sessions, whether you're a small business looking for answers on healthcare needs, whether you're a tourism business looking to grow your market share. We'll have experts like Bill Geist in to speak, and of course I'm most excited about the keynote presentation from Frank Luntz. Frank's a very well-known political pollster and strategist, and he's going to bring us a message just a few days before the presidential election as to what this might mean for local businesses. Frank is a well-known expert in that field, and some of the insights he'll offer won't be political. It'll rather be how does a business or an individual market themselves to their potential customers. So we think that day will be exciting, and of course we'll cap it off with some very important awards each year. Awards like the Citizen of the Year, the Pioneer of the Year, the Small Business of the Year, and other awards. And we thank you and the Myrtle Beach Herald for having been a part of that.
Being one of many sponsors. You've got a lot of great sponsors that day. I've seen a litany of great sponsors, and it looks like you're getting more sponsors year after year for all the big events.
We're excited, and we think if we do our job right, people will walk away having learned something, having heard something they didn't know, and hopefully having helped us recognize some very key individuals and businesses along the Grand Strand.
Well, you know, of course, it may not be a celebration day to highlight when we're thinking about anniversaries, your 5th anniversary, but it is a celebration for a lot of folks here in the area to recognize that 5 years have passed, a lot has been accomplished, and of course, October 30th of 2003, the big announcement was made, and you accepted the offer to be the president and chief executive officer of the Myrtle Beach Area Chamber of Commerce. Big deal there, Brad. How do you feel about the vision you laid out there on October 30th of 03? And where it's headed and where we're going from here?
Well, Greg, we've accomplished a lot, but we still have so much more to accomplish, so much more to do, and so many more opportunities to capitalize upon. For me, it's truly an honor and a privilege to serve in that role. And I know 5 years ago, if someone would ever have told me you're going to be facing gas prices of $4 a gallon and increased tourism competition and some of the challenging events we've had to deal with, I might have wondered how we're going to get there. But today, I'm even more excited, even more optimistic, and even more committed, not simply for myself, but for those around me. We've assembled a strong staff, a very talented board, and we've enlisted the support of entities and individuals throughout the Grand Strand who are just as committed as we are at seeing this area evolve. And as I think back to the last 5 years, our big challenge and our most important objective was to re-energize and revitalize the Chamber and make sure that it wasn't just serving the needs of its member, but the broader community. And we think today we're doing that, but we still have a lot of things to do. And we're excited about the future. We think we've accomplished some good things in the past, but we're not willing to settle upon that. We're looking forward to where we can help this community grow and evolve into an even more special place to live, to work, and to vacation.
Did you ever imagine 5 years ago, Brad, the opportunity with the presidential debates and the highlight that really put on the area?
You know, we used to talk about, and I certainly did with you and others, about the need to evolve as more of a national destination. If anybody would have told me 5 years ago, do you think you could get a presidential debate, I would have said if we'd have had the debate of the presidents of local chambers, might have been as far as we would have gotten. Never ever thought about that. But I think it's a testament not to me and certainly not to the chamber exclusively, but to this community. There are a lot of believers in this community. There are a lot of people, small businesses, who refuse to be told no. And I think that was a great example of where the community came together, worked on some very special events. And now that we've had the presidential debates, we're looking at what couldn't we host? World Olympic trials.
Right.
Other presidential or senatorial debates and events. There's plenty of opportunities that the Grand Strand can go after. And I think today, more so than ever before, we're confident and supremely committed that we can extend ourselves into those areas. We may or may not always succeed, and I think one of the challenges for us is we've got to have a few more failures. We've got to be willing to try some things that don't work to make sure that we're truly maximizing all of the opportunities for the area.
That's tremendous, Brad. Well, I know we've only got about 5 minutes, and we think back, we reflect, of course, your service, your tenure here at the Chamber of Commerce. Prior to becoming the CEO, you were the Chief Financial Officer. You've been there a good while, but what actually brought you to the area, Brad, was entirely different. I believe I never thought about it that way, the only pyramid-shaped restaurant in the Myrtle Beach area.
That's right. What really brought me here was the appeal for a wonderful, family-friendly, community with a great quality of life. And of course, I came with the Hard Rock Cafe at the time that Broadway at the Beach was booming. So I'm like many of your viewers and readers at the Herald. I came here because of this tourism industry that was growing and evolving. And we came here thinking we probably wouldn't stay long, but we found a home here. And you know, as I think back over the last 13 years, having been in the service industry and then working for the Chamber, my wife working for Blue Cross Blue Shield, we couldn't imagine living anywhere else right now. This is home. And so like a lot of people here, we came here not knowing what to expect, not knowing how long we'd be here, but we certainly are committed to staying and watching this area continue to grow and evolve.
Absolutely, Brad. That's 13 years.
13
a little over 13 years, 1995.
That's all right. And you know, now I can say that I can remember back when we didn't close year-round, but you know, December was just a slow month. And, you know, it's an exciting time to think back to all that's happened since 1995, and certainly with some challenges that lie ahead. But I'm convinced that this area is going to continue to grow and evolve, but in ways that we haven't seen yet. Coastal Carolina and all that's going on there, the wonderful school system and healthcare systems that we're developing, and the non-tourism businesses that are going to be coming to the area. I think when the economy turns around at the national level, the Grand Strand is really going to explode in some very positive ways.
We've only got a couple of minutes, Brad. I'm thinking about those challenges that we can tackle. You mentioned the national economy. When the national economy turns around, what are some of those recognized challenges here that we have the ability to overcome on our own that would not necessarily be the national economy, for instance? What are some of the biggest challenges you see on the radar for, let's say, the next 12 to 18 months that we have the ability to overcome?
Clearly, Greg, one of those areas is infrastructure. We know as we continue to grow, we have got to add the infrastructure, expanding the airport, the roadways, building an interstate, absolutely critical. If we don't solve those, that will simply choke our growth. I think the ongoing balance of tourism versus non-tourism, of fast-paced growth versus balanced growth that pays for itself, is something that requires a delicate balance and a clear, consistent approach of management, not just by the public sector, but by private industry. And then I think also we're not, at this point, I think lacking opportunities of getting our local governments more on the page together. We have seen when local and state government work together how we can solve issues like infrastructure and planning. We've also seen where they don't get along, how that can hold us back. And so I think where we can provide a forum to make sure there's more collaboration, cooperation, and communication between public entities and private entities, that's going to be critical. Communication, collaboration, and making sure we're focused on the infrastructure that'll poise this area for great things to come. If we can do that, the Grand Strand is going to continue to be a special place to play.
Absolutely, Brad. And as we think about accomplishments, we look back the last 5 years, we just got a minute. I'm just thinking about that, your tremendous staff, the tremendous board, so many magnificent volunteers over the last 5 years. Is there any one accomplishment of which you're most proud over the last 5 years, having taken on your position?
Well, survival, first of all. You know, following somebody like Ashby Ward, I always remind people that I never forget where I started, and there's a reason why they put his name on the building and my name on the mortgage, and so I'm just there to pay the bills and keep the organization moving forward. You know, with the Chamber, you're never quite sure if those people behind you are following you or chasing you. Sometimes it's a combination of both. But I think the biggest accomplishment that we've made is not any particular event. It can't be measured in dollars and cents. It's by hopefully being more of an organization more likely to bring people together and position the Grand Strand to do things we never thought possible. That's our goal. That's our objective. If we're doing that, then we're a success.
Absolutely, Brad. Of course, you're so focused on the Grand Strand, and it's wonderful. Just real quick about yourself, if you weren't currently the President and Chief Executive Officer here for the Myrtle Beach Area Chamber of Commerce, Brad, what do you think you'd be doing? I've got to ask that question. It's an old question from 5.5 years ago when we were, before you were the CEO. I remember that. I think I remember your answer. I'll be interested to see if it's still in line.
Some people think I just want to be in the media, and unfortunately this is a face made for radio, so nothing like you on the TV set. You know, I really enjoy being in the business world, and certainly that's something important to me. I don't think I'd ever want to be too far away from commerce, but I also enjoy the opportunity of working with people in the educational sector and the public sector. So I don't know that I'm a politician per se, but I like the public arena, and I like the opportunity to work with business people. So something in that regard will always be important to me, and if it can be balanced with the need to be a great husband, a great father, and a good Christian, then for me, that's a winning equation all the way around.
Listen up, Brad. Great way to wrap. Thanks so much for being with us this morning. Very definitely. Stay tuned to a little more Carolina People with the President and CEO of the Myrtle Beach Area Chamber of Commerce, Brad Dean, coming up next. At Hoopeston High School, Brad played football baseball, and basketball while taking tough classes at the same time, trigonometry, physics, and chemistry. He made all A's, except for one B. In driver's education, I love that he jokes about it. He jokes that he must have taken a left turn instead of a right. If you've been sitting here with him the last 20 minutes or you spend any time with him in the community, you know he makes a lot of right turns. But if he makes any wrong turns, at least he's learning from it. He's going to make sure it doesn't happen again. Take the time to learn more about Brad and the tremendous Myrtle Beach Area Chamber of Commerce online at visitmyrtlebeach.com. From the man that I learned that we have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. I hope you've enjoyed being with him this morning. Brad Dean, thanks so much for being with us.